So, it's been about 684 days since the release of Flashpoint game mode. And with the start of Season 17, a new Flashpoint map has been added to the game, Aatlis, set in the country of Morocco. And it is not only one of the most beautiful maps that has been released so far, it also comes with a lot of awesome details you might find interesting, as well as some silly stuff. So let's go through them. So, you might be wondering, what does Aatlis mean? Well, I have a theory. It so happens that Morocco is located within the range of Aatlis mountains. And if we take our camera and go all the way up, we can see the mountains in the distance. There are a lot of water sources around the whole map, either in the form of a fountain or waterfall. All areas except for the Bazaar Point. Well, maybe this leaking ceiling can be considered a water source, you tell me. In case you have your music volume set to 0 or really low, I would recommend bumping it up a little bit, because this has to be one of the best map soundtracks in the game. There are 2 main and 2 forward spawns on the map. The blue spawn is located in a place called Khalifa Club, which fittingly has blue lighting inside of it. Inside of the spawn, we can see hookahs and cushions, which from what I assume is served alongside Arabic coffee. And yes, everyone's favorite playing toy makes its grand return, the piano. Shout out to the Overwatch devs for placing the piano relatively close to the exit this time. I was genuinely worried I'd have to switch to Lifeweaver and yank my teammates out, like I do on Circuit Royale.
Hello.
Or Paris. Rest in peace. On the other side of the map, we've got the red spawn, located in a building called the Lobby City. It shares the same layout and design with the blue spawn, except this one's lit in red. And instead of it being a hookah lounge, this place gives more of a restaurant vibe. Here you can also spot Arabic coffee, this time served with what looks to be medjool dates. What I find weird about these spawns is that if we look at some of the other maps with similar setting, we can notice that some of them feature reception or servant bots. But on Aatlis, the reception area feels quite empty, which is a bit dull in my opinion, given that these bots add a bit of life, be it artificial, to the map. I think it will be nice to have them added to the spawn rooms, we'll at least have something to shoot, instead of showcasing our piano skills. Also, if you go just a bit outside of the spawn, you can hear some glitchy announcer lines in both Arabic and French.
Aidez-moi à assurer la sécurité d'Aatlis. Rejoignez Helix Security sans plus attendre. ساهم في الحفاظ على سلامة أطلس. انضم إلى قوات أمن هيليكس اليوم.
Like all Flashpoint maps, this one features 5 capture points, and their names are Station, Garden, Town Center, Bazaar, and Resort. But what sets Aatlis apart from the other Flashpoint maps is the inclusion of capture point signs throughout the map. These signs actually point you towards the different control points, which really helps reduce the usual confusion about which path leads to which area. It's a small detail, but it makes the map a lot easier to learn and navigate. I also like the fact that they added icons and coloring to these capture point signs. Speaking of colors, each control point on the map has its own distinct color palette, which helps visually separate the areas and makes navigation way easier, even without relying on the in-game UI elements. The middle point stands out the most, using a triad of vibrant pink, cyan, and yellow gold. It's flashy, eye-catching, and perfect for a central area. Garden leans into a cooler aesthetic, with shades of blue, green, and warm touch of burnt orange. Town Center uses warm colors of orange, teal, and blue. Bazaar goes with light soft purple and bits of yellow. And finally, Result keeps things chill and laid back, with neutral tones, accented by teal and sandy beige. These colors aren't just there for style, they serve a gameplay purpose too. They help players orient themselves quickly. For example, if you're standing just outside the blue spawn and look to your left, you'll spot mostly blue tones, which leads you straight to Garden. Look right and you'll see those neutral whites, dark teal and beige, pointing you towards the resort. And same from the red spawn, with soft purple and orange. And again, the signs you see also help you with identifying which path leads to which point. The middle point of the map is set inside of a Hyperloop station, a sleek, futuristic hub. If you look up, you can actually see a passenger pod flying by overhead, which adds a nice sense of movement and life to the area. There's also a giant departure screen listing 20 destinations. This is quite similar to the screen we can see on Numbani, which by the way has Morocco poster on it as well. Also, can somebody tell me why all the times on this screen are in intervals except Toronto? I'd really like to know that, because I cannot decipher this mystery. The music in this lobby area is probably one of my favorites in Overwatch. Give it a listen. And if you are patient enough, you can also catch the station announcer making occasional public announcements in both Arabic and French.
شركة قطارات أتليس تعلق مؤقتاً خدمات السفر إلى روما. نعتذر عن الإزعاج. Merci d'avoir choisi la compagnie ferroviaire d'Atlis.
The funniest one for me is the one where she says that the Hyperloop train to Arcology is delayed due to an unexpected whale migration.
Le train Hyperloop à destination de l'Arcologie est retardé en raison d'une migration imprévue de baleines.
Which fits well with the screen we've just seen. You can also find these little pachimaris around the area, a StarCraft backpack, and this pillow lying on the floor. Somebody must have been waiting for the train for a bit too long. We'll get back to this pillow just a bit later. And in case you were wondering what these posters say, here are the translations. Oh wow, I've never seen a poster like this before. I wonder what it means. Moving on to the next point, garden. What is unique about this point, you may ask? Well, frogs. Yep, that's right. There are now frogs in the game. And yes, you can in fact shoot them, though they will only leap upwards and not actually explode. However, you'll need to be playing on higher graphical settings to see them. Same goes for some of the water effects on other parts of the map. There is a beautiful waterfall just behind the point, and before anyone gets any ideas, no, it does not put out fire. And Torbjorn's tomb still stays on the ground. Literally unplayable if you ask me. This point area also features a coffee aroma cafe, which is an iconic cafe that we can spot on multiple other maps. You can see these coffee cups at the Hyperloop station. And inside of this cafe, we can find...
Sandwich!
This is not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. This is a hint for the Overwatch and Team Fortress 2 collab. The music here takes a more upbeat and energetic turn. Personally, I'm not sure if it completely fits the overall vibe of a garden filled with frogs and waterfalls, but hey, that's just my take. And for those who don't speak Arabic, here are some translations of the signs you'll find around the area. The most interesting one being the sign that says Childhood Home of Omar Tama, Minister of Transport in Oasis, which is obviously a reference to Oasis map. After this point, we have direct access to one of the next locations, which is Town Center. Out of all the control points on this map, the town center is by far the smallest and, well, most claustrophobic one. The space around the point is quite tight, making fights a bit awkward. Junkhead mates keep this in mind. The music here, on the other hand, is surprisingly calm and tranquil, unlike the other capture points. Something tells me that this would have been a better fit for the garden. If you go just outside of the area, you can see that Hazard and his group of freaks have visited this location, which is a reference to the Overwatch comic, where the freaks suffered a setback when they attacked a research facility in Morocco. That little lore detail might also explain why some of the power boxes around the whole map seem to be broken, as you can see the sparks coming out of them. Aesthetically speaking, the bazaar area is, at least in my opinion, the most interesting point on the map. From the wide variety of patterns, shapes and colors to nice looking artworks on the monitors. You can also hear people and animals in the background, which adds a nice touch of life to this place. The pastry you see on this monitor is called shebekia, a common sweet in Morocco. When you're entering this point from one of the main areas, you can see the sign that translates to Central Market. If you stand on this bridge, not only do you get a nice view of the point, but you can also see the town central point in the distance. Also, this is a great point for flankers and ball players, because you have 9 health packs available to you in close proximity. 5 of those being mega health packs. Though you know what? I like even round numbers, so adding a health pack to this area would also make a bit more sense in my opinion. Oh, and you can also shoot these sacks full of spices for some particle effects. Now let's cover the last remaining point on the map, Resort. If we translate the signs around this point, then we'll see that a more precise name for this area is called the Seaside Hotel. Now, maybe it's just me, but the buildings on the left and right of the point remind me of luxury yachts. At first glance, I thought they were ships docked near the shore, but nope, they're actual buildings. You can see that clearly from the structures underneath. There are 2 beach balls on the point in case you get bored while capping the point. Oh, and do you remember that pillow we saw all the way back at the Hyperloop station? Well, you can find it here, on one of the seats. So now, we know that somebody took it from the resort area and brought it all the way to the Hyperloop station. Absolute cinema. As for the music, it is exactly what you would expect. Tropical and beachy. And in contrast to the previous point, this whole area has no mega health packs at all. This part of a map also has its own announcer, and she says the following lines.
استمتع بالاسترخاء في خزانات العوم الجديدة المطلة على البحر. Offrez-vous un moment de détente en mer dans l'un de nos caissons d'isolation.
I also find it funny how there is a swimming sign on the walls. However, if we look close to the edge of a map, we'll see that there is no way for anyone to get back up, shall they choose to dive right into the water, besides the life ring that is. I think this sign will fit more here. Also, if both teams are tied 2-2, and this is the final point you have to capture, then I guess you can call it the last resort. Hehe. You might be wondering, are there any cool spots or sneaky shortcuts on this map? Well, I have good news for you. Yep, and I've got a few to show you. If you find yourself down in this lower area and want to get back up quickly, you don't have to take the boring stairs on the left or right side. Instead, just scale these crates right in front of you. If you go to Bazaar and go all the way up here, you can actually stand on these metal platforms. This might get fixed soon, so use it while you still can. And you can also stand on these wooden panels. Gardens have this spot you can surf on.
Target identified. Perfect.
You can use these rocks to do some sliding magic on town center. And if you don't want to go through corridors to reach the resort point, you can go around the building as some heroes. Also, these fire hydrants look kinda weird. Huge shout out to these legends for helping me with the video. If you also want to contribute, then join my Discord server. You also get a cookie. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.